Networks.
Live and direct from my bedroom, it is the Universal House Arrest Podcast, otherwise known as EC Radio. How are you? We're live on all Disruption Network social media platforms, and you can follow along at disruptionnetwork.net. Much love to everybody out there in Facebook land donating to our virtual tip jar over at For the D. Thank you so much for helping us out on PayPal and Venmo. If you'd like to help us out at XYTODA or PayPal sales at disruptionnetwork.net. Much love to my sponsors too, EJA Moving Services. When you're ready to move and relocate, if you want to move your operation and go visit my guest today in Buffalo, move everything you got and move to Buffalo, Eddie and his crew will move you to Buffalo right now. All you got to do is hit them up at ejamoving.com. Dude, let me tell you, Eddie and those guys are top notch when it comes to moving gym equipment, your studio, your grandmother, your college student, whoever you need to move. If you need to move to Guatemala, they'll move you there. ejamoving.com. Check them out. Much love to you, Eddie. Thank you for all your support here at Disruption Network. Also, much love to Saranac and Utica Coffee. And if you need legal help, call my good friend, attorney Dave Longaretta at 315-735-6162. Dave's been keeping me out of trouble since the early 90s, so he can keep you out of trouble too. So much love to Dave. And a quick little shout out, Wrestle Fandom Radio goes live tonight. Check the boys out. Talking all WWE and AEW, 6 o'clock with Garrett and Stu. And then tomorrow, No Time for Nonsense. Bill and Ryan have guest Tom Nitty, who won the Stanley Singing Songwriter competition. So Tom Nitty is going to be on with those guys tomorrow. That goes off tomorrow at 7 o'clock, No Time for Nonsense. And then Friday, Leveling Up is going live. Meg and Ryan McGrogan are going live Friday at 4 o'clock for Leveling Up. So make sure you go tune in for that. Much love to all the shows here at the D. And much love to Todd, too, for holding it down at the studio, for making everything look good. Speaking of somebody who holds it down, my man has been holding it down in Buffalo for many years over at Buffalo Ironworks. This is a good man we got here on the program, and I'm excited to talk to him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Josh Holtzman. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Welcome.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. You've already said far too many good things about me, so I appreciate that.
Well, no, man. Look, by the way, I'm rocking the shirt today. I'm representing.
Killing
Buffalo's been a town that's always showed me so much love from back in the day, back in the Broadway Joe's days, and then my boys from Rhubarb, and just I've hung out in Buffalo for so many years, and it's good to see like the scene has always been alive and vibrant in Buffalo, pre-COVID, of course. You know, there's always been a great scene and a lot of love in that town, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's something really special about Buffalo all the way around. It comes down to the people in the community. We have such great music here. We have such great fans. We have awesome venues. And you know what? I feel like if there's, one town that's going to come out stronger from all this, it's going to be Buffalo.
A town that's always built on resilience, right?
Always. Kick us down, we'll get right back up.
Indeed. I always say Utica is just a smaller Buffalo. It is, man. We have like the same food culture, though our pizza is better than your pizza. Man.
Whoa.
Our pizza is better than your pizza.
Debatable.
I'm telling you. You definitely got us in the chicken wing category.
I would hope so.
Yes, you definitely got us in the category. But no, Utica is just a smaller Buffalo. We've got a great food culture, and of course, there's the architecture and a great hockey community. Of course, Utica's a thriving hockey community. So is Buffalo, man. And, I mean, you're right across from the Sabres, man. Do you go to a lot of Sabres games?
I do. I go to as many as I can. I'm actually, as you can tell, I'm at the venue, and I can just turn like this and see the arena. So, we're as close as we can get. I try to go to as many games as possible. They're just so much fun. I mean, it's really easy. The crowd is into it. We are a hockey town. We haven't really had the team to back that up for many years. But, when they go on a tear, it's fun to be a part of that.
There's some promise though with Eichel and all the young up and comers coming up. And
that dude's got skills. He's coming in.
He does. We won't see him till 2021, but unfortunately, man,
it'll take some time. He can only get better.
So, how you guys been holding up during house arrest? Have you guys been keeping active at the Ironworks? So, what have you been doing to keep active?
We've actually been doing pretty well. We really shut down our operations and are operating as lean as possible. But we're trying to use this time to our benefit. There's been a lot of things we wanted to do, remodeling, maintenance, painting, cleaning. And, when we're doing 5 to 6 shows a week, the time just isn't there. So now we have the gift of time. And I mean, we are scraping the floors. We're power washing. We're painting everything. It's going to have the same old feel when we reopen, but it's going to be sparkling clean and fresh paint, and it's going to look fresh. I'm excited for it.
What's Buffalo? Are they in any phase right now? Is your county in any phase?
Our county just started phase 1. Western New York was a little bit behind some of the Finger Lakes regions and other spots in New York State, but we finally hit that mark. We're in phase 1. As we know, Ironworks and entertainment lives in phase 4. So, first to shut down, last to reopen, but we're getting there. Things are moving, and I'm very hopeful that, I don't want to say a date, but, August, September, I would love to be able to reopen.
Yeah. No expectations, no letdowns, right, bro? Yeah.
I mean, you hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And when it happens, it's going to be awesome. And until then, we're just going to keep doing things day by day and keeping those smiles on our faces, because that's all we can do.
Now, brother, I got to hand it to you, man, because before this whole COVID thing came into effect and the live streaming became really popular, you guys were already doing that over at the Ironworks. You guys were doing that for well over a year or two, broadcasting live shows and stuff like that, man. Are you guys going to continue to do some of that once you can slowly let people in, or maybe once you can start commiserating and gathering a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I have to give a shout out to Mark over at Buffalo FM. He's the one that's really kind of spearheaded the streaming. It's been a part of everything we've done for probably the last 4 or 5 years. And I think it's really going to be with us for a long time. And I think, as we know, when we reopen, we're probably going to be looking at 25% capacity, 50% capacity. So it's going to be a mix of having people attending the show as well as people watching from home. So we're a 500 cap room. If we can only get 200 people in here, there's no reason we can't have the other 300 watching from home and just kind of keep it going. So I think streaming is going to be strong. It's going to stay with us for a while. And we're certainly going to continue doing it as we, progress through and into our future, really.
Yeah, couch tour. It's definitely been super popular.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's really the best way to do. And it's funny because actually right in front of me, I have a couch set up here. And on our stage, I set up our movie theater screen. And so I've been having like private little family COVID-safe movie nights here. And since we can't go to the movies, we'll just bring them here. So couch tour right at the venue.
The other thing you guys have been doing too, creating some content. I've seen some podcasts you've been doing, talking to like locals and bands and whatnot. How often do you do those?
Honestly, they come, every now and then. It seems like we've really gotten some great media coverage, especially with new content. We try to do something once a week, once every couple weeks. We just want to stay active. We don't want to just close our doors, turn the lights on, and kind of say, we'll see you when we see you. It gives us the time to evolve. And I think the music industry as a whole is going to have to evolve in order to get through all of this. So if we can't have hundreds of people in here, well, we're going to come up with new content. We're going to bring it to you. We're going to get with the news, the paper, radio, podcasts, things like these, and new platforms that allow us to kind of showcase what we do and what we love to do. So it's just really important for us to stay as relevant and continue to evolve as all of this changes every single day.
I know you take part. You run Cobblestone Fest too, which is a really cool concept over there. Are you guys going to do that on a virtual platform, or is it just completely canceled?
You know what? It was interesting you bring that up, because before today it was 100% canceled. We held down as long as we could. We wanted more than ever to put on the festival, but safety comes first for our community, and we really want to produce something that reflects who we are, and really what we are is for the people and bringing Buffalo together. And it just seems like we can't do it the proper way this year. We want to keep everybody safe. We'll come back stronger next year. But actually this morning, we started conversations of doing a Cobblestone Live couch tour. Very early stages of talking. We want to see what's possible, what we can do, but I don't want to put anything out of the question right now. I think it's certainly plausible. And, if we can make anything happen revolving around Cobblestone Live music, Ironworks, whatever, we're all for it. We just want to give people what they want.
And speaking of which, can we talk about what you're diving into?
Sure, absolutely.
Is that out there? Have you been promoting this?
So it's funny because like I've been loosely promoting it because it's come in phases where it was like, all right, initially let's have the idea, let's see if there's legs. Got that, there are legs. Next was let's find a plausible home that could work. After our site visit last night at the drive-in in Buffalo, it became a reality. So we have the idea, we have the home, we have dates, and the last thing we need is bands. And that is not going to be a problem. I'm already talking to a lot of different bands. And really the whole idea behind, I think we can all say like having concerts at a drive-in is not our first choice. Maybe for some of us it is, but our first choice would be to go back to the way life was. But that's not the cards we've been dealt right now. So I think this is an absolute best case scenario where we want to put musicians back to work, stagehands back to work, sound techs, production crews, Western New York employees, putting them back to work, driving money into the local economy. And then also a portion of every single ticket sale is going to be donated to first responders. So we want to do our part in actually providing a service and giving back. It's not easy. I'll be honest. It's not incredibly lucrative because your capacity is extremely limited, but it is much, much better than anything that we could have ever imagined that it would be. It's really coming together nicely. And you know what? It's oddly enough, it's really a bucket list item that I didn't even know I had. And now, we'll be able to check that off, which is super cool.
And I have a lot of questions because a lot of people have come to me with this idea and I'm on the fence with it. Of course I see it as it being a unique idea. Yeah. Sound wise first of all, my question would be towards the alcohol side of things. Public safety, is there going to be alcohol served? If there is, you're kind of encouraging drinking and driving. How are you going to make sure these people stay in a car? How do you go to a concert, stay in a car? I have so many questions. So I'm so glad that this is perfect timing that you're on the program.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions when you look into every single category of this, and we've taken the time. And, I got to give a shout out to the drive-in because they've really put an extra effort to really lock this down. And they actually opened for business over the weekend. So we wanted them to open, see how they were going to operate for their movies. And then in a sense, we're going to be operating the same way. So I should start by saying, first and foremost, safety is the number one thing. We're not doing this to make money. We're doing this to provide a service and to be safe. So with that comes extremely limited capacity. So if we're looking at a screen that could normally hold 320 cars, we're going to be pulling that back to about 130 cars, 150, somewhere in that range. Each car is going to have at least 6 to 8 feet in between. So the spacing is safe. Outside of that, there is going to be a rule that if you come outside of your car and let's say you want to sit in a lawn chair or you want to leave the premises of your car, you have to wear a mask. And that's going to be basically mandated by security on site. And really, it's going to have to be something that people need to come together on. I understand that, and I'm not trying to get down the rabbit hole of the whole and no mask versus mask, but it's just a respect thing. If you don't believe in it, just wear a mask. You respect the people around you, and you're providing everybody with a safer environment. So if you want to sit outside your car, you're going to have to wear a mask. When it comes to alcohol, I can tell you we won't be serving alcohol ourselves, but it's going to operate much like the drive-in does, where you are allowed to bring alcohol, you're allowed to bring food, you're allowed to bring soda. You can bring it with you. There's a sense of personal responsibility. There's a liability waiver that you tend to sign and agree to when you buy a ticket. We don't encourage drinking and driving at all. We want you to be safe. But, if you come in a car with 4 people and 3 of them want to have a few beers and the one person stays safe and sober, that's an environment that we can provide so that people can still enjoy, a concert somewhat the way that they want to. We're expecting everybody to be really patient and understanding when it comes to us trying to put on what we're trying to do. It's not perfect, but it's going to be near perfect when it comes to safety, first and foremost. And there's other different avenues. If you want to look at sound, so what we're going to be doing with the sound is we're going to have a full stage line rig like you would see at a festival. There's going to be a live PA. There's going to be sound and lights. Everything is going to be like you would see at a festival, but we're also going to be FM transmitting it into your car. So you have the option to close all the windows, turn up the radio, and listen to the music that way while still visually seeing it, or turn off the radio, roll down all your windows, and actually hear the live music. And you know what? There's been a lot of arguments back and forth of it should be one or the other, because you don't want the live to dilute the transmission and vice versa. And you know, the thing is like the sound is going to be fantastic, but we're not looking to win an award for the all-time greatest sound that a festival has ever seen. You know, this is you're in your car. This is a drive-in. It's an interesting environment. So, you know, we want to give the option so that if somebody wants to feel safer, keep their windows rolled up, turn on their AC, they can do that and they can still hear it. You know, I'm on the side where I want a live band and I want to hear and feel that live music. So, you know, if and when I'm in my car, my radio will be off, my windows will be down, and I'll probably be sticking my head out the side to actually hear the music, because I think that's what I miss the most out of everything. So, you know, it's going to be really, really interesting and cool to see. But what's nice is that, you know, our venue, like I said, is a 500 capacity room. We're looking at around 400 to 500 capacity when it comes to people. You know, when you figure you're going to have some people that are 2 per car, others 3, others 4. We're right around there. So it's in a sense like we're taking Ironworks and we're going to be shifting it to the drive-in while doing everything we possibly can to support the local economy and local musicians and local staff and, you know, do our part to give back.
I think it's incredible that you're trying it, man, and good for you, because you got to do something, man, because we're lacking in live music this summer. We need to, the musicians need to get their creative souls out. The stagehands need to get to work. The production guys need to be miserable. You know, I miss a miserable sound guy so much. I can't begin to tell you how much I miss a miserable sound guy right now. Anyways, but no, we got to get back to work and get going. And I applaud you guys for giving it a shot and doing it, man. That's what I was thinking too. Like, a lot of things are going to happen. Like, I see a porch fest being really popular this year. Things like backyard parties and taking it back into the woods parties and setting up with a couple acoustic guitars just to get it out there, you know?
You got to do something. And, you know, what I've said from the beginning of this drive-in idea is everybody's going to have to come together as a team in order for it to work. We all have to go in. That includes us as the promoters and the production company, the drive-in as the venue, the bands as the artists, the agent and managers as managers and agents. We all have to come together because we're not going to be making what we are all used to making when it comes to a normal show. And that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to a setup like this. But when we can put our heads together and actually produce something really, really unique and something that, you know, we never thought we would be doing, I think there's something really special in that. And, you know, ultimately, if we can just provide that simple service of giving people that feel of having a live show this summer or a live concert series, which is kind of what I'm working on, that's going to be really special, and that'll go a long way.
Indeed, brother. Do you see it sticking around after COVID? Like, once we can finally come back to full speed, do you think the drive-in – I see maybe the drive-in movies happening, but do you see drive-in concerts being something that sticks around?
You know what? I personally don't. I don't want to say, you know, that it's kind of dead after COVID is dead, but they might go hand in hand. You know, I think it's going to be interesting to see what life is like when all of this goes away. You know, when I look at the drive-in concert, I do see it as a really special, unique environment that's going to have a short lifespan. You know, it's going to be weather dependent. And as we know, you know, here in upstate New York and Western New York, you know, we're looking at like 3 months, we could probably pull this off. And I think once, you know, it can go later in the fall and there's ways to do it. But once the regular concert, outdoor festivals and everything goes back to normal, I think you're going to see the drive-in go back to strictly movies, bands going back to playing in front of large crowds. So I think this is a very unique, almost like a 3-month window that we have to work with where we can do something cool and see where it goes.
Yeah, right on, man. What's the status on Borderland? Is that still up in the air right now?
Happening. Yeah. You know, the goal with Borderland is to, you know, it's mid to end of September. You know, we've been doing everything we can with talking to the state and the city It is a state park at Knox Park. So
Yep.
it's, there's a lot of things that go into it. As of right now, everything is a go. And I think when it comes to a festival like that, people are going to see a lot of different things, when they attend this festival. Again, it's going to go back to safety is going to be first. I don't want to speculate too much, but you're probably going to see temperature scans. You're going to see a lot more hand sanitizing stations. You're going to see sanitation from the top down, and you're most likely going to see a reduced capacity. It's not going to be a festival that last year, on a Saturday saw 7,000 people and on a Friday did like 5,000 or 6,000. You're not going to see that. It's going to be pulled back, but it's going to have that borderland family-friendly vibe that it's going to be live music. There's going to be a band on stage. It's going to be a festival that is going to survive and exist in this type of climate. And I think when it comes to that festival, I don't make the final decision on whether it's a go or not, but as the project manager, I kind of look at it and I'm just like, let's hold on as long as we can. Just like I did with Cobblestone Live. We're not losing anything by holding on. We're being smart. We'll never force anything. We'll never put anybody in danger, but let's just see, we got time. Let's hold on. Let's see how we're doing and really just plan to go forward. Because if we can pull it off, it's going to be something really special. And I think the local economy and the local community will really appreciate it.
Right on. And by far, it is one of the coolest festivals in upstate New York, by far. It is. It's just such a great vibe, and the whole mixture between arts and community, and of course the music. I mean, the music is the anchor of the whole festival, but the vibe and just the eco-friendly environment that aspect of the thing. I mean, it's very educational as well. I mean, it's a great festival and it's a great package, and great job by all that run that festival. No, it is awesome. So I hope it does happen this year for sure. We all pray.
We're all praying for it. We're going to keep fighting. It really is a cool festival, especially on the sustainability side, like you talked about. And even just me working for the festival, I've learned so much about composting and recycling and trash. And literally, when I look back at what we've done the last couple of years and how many people have come, we've seemingly left a very limited to no footprint at all. You go to the park now and you would never know that a festival took place there. And I think that's a beautiful thing all the way around.
Yeah, it's a great site. I mean, that whole place is just so amazing. Cool, it's magical. It's got a magical vibe to it for sure. Oh, yeah. Holtzman, I want to back up, talk about you a little bit, brother. Where'd you get your start in the whole music industry? How'd you get your feet wet?
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're going back. We're going back to the beginning. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's rewind.
All right. We'll bring it back. Let's see what year it was. It was probably like 2008, somewhere around there. I was actually working for a merchandising company doing screen printing, like the shirts that we're wearing, and embroidery and doing stuff like that. Yep. That was actually printed at the shop that I used to run. So, obviously you typically have a lot of different clients when it comes to things like that, landscapers, charity runs, 5K, stuff like that. But I really wanted to put a focus on bands and figuring out how can we logistically work with bands who are on the road. Obviously, there's some bigger thought process. You got to monitor inventory levels. You got to ship things out ahead of time so you can catch it when they're coming through the city. This way, a band would always be stocked when they're on the road. I had really no experience outside of just being a huge music fan, attending every festival I could, all the concerts, really just a general public GA type guy, and wondering what it would be like to get on the other side of the fence. What is backstage like? How does this industry work? My background is I have a business degree, and I really wanted to get that coming out, knowing that I could kind of take that anywhere. And I should start by saying I have no musical ability at all. Like, I can barely play a recorder, and even that is bad. So it's, I'll say I have an ear for it, but skill, not at all. So I leave that to the musicians at hand. And then, funny enough, while that was going on, I'd actually recently moved downtown, or it's kind of North Buffalo, but it's Buffalo. And I went out to a local bar that Buffalonians will know, Mr. Good Bar. Mr. Good Bar has been around.
I remember Mr. Good Bar.
Yep. It's right by Buff State. And a couple of my close friends, we decided to go out. We walk in, and the band Aqueous is playing. And, at this point, I don't even know I don't know if they were old enough to drink. Like, I think they might have been 19, 20, maybe 21. I don't know. But, I'm watching them play and I'm like, this band is really cool. Like, they have a cool vibe. I was a big Mo fan growing up, a big Humphreys fan, but this area, it's Mo country, and especially in the jam scene. So, to hear a band like this, I was like, wow, they have sounds of Mo, they have sounds of Humphreys, but they also have their own sound and their own vibe. So I attended that show, and then after that, I checked, saw where they were playing next. I think it might have been Pearl Street. All these shows probably had 25 to 30 people at, nothing major, and just kind of became a fan. And then one day I decided, why don't I hit them up, see if I can help. I don't know how I can help. Maybe it's on the merch end, maybe it's on the marketing end. But I hit them up, and I'll always remember when I got that first email back. It was like winning the fucking lottery. I'm like, oh my God, this band contacted me. This is the greatest thing ever. Just teenagers just hitting me up, and it's really nothing that crazy. But at the time it was awesome. And I actually hit them with the idea of, let's put together a merch package. Let me show you how this can make some money for you guys, because money is everything when it comes to trying to produce records and everything like that. And also can I help you with, street teaming? Can I put together like a street team for you guys and show you the power that this could kind of bring, and how you really need to build a ride or die community behind your band. That's really the best way that a band can grow.
100%.
It's that fan base. It doesn't matter if it's 20, but if you get 20 ride or die fans, and that turns into 40, into 100, into 500, and so on and so forth, it snowballs. So you know what? I started working with the band right around 2009, 2010. And then that slowly evolved into taking over their management, taking over their booking, and really, going all in when it comes to Aqueous, going on the road with them, booking their shows, running the management side of it. And really what was beautiful about all of that was we were all learning together. Like, I didn't have more experience than they did, and vice versa. And when we went out on the road, we would play Rochester, Utica, Syracuse, Erie, Albany. You do that whole I-90 run. And it was cool because we had one van, we're sleeping on floors, or usually it would be like the guys, each of them would share a bed with each other, and I'd have an air mattress on the floor, or we'd try to crash at some fan's house, and maybe we'd have enough money to feed each other, but if not, we would figure it out, and hopefully the venue would give us a pizza. And so that really became my intro into the music industry as a whole. And then what was beautiful about that was it opened the network. We're trading shows with bands. I'm having conversations with other managers, with agents. And every single time I got on the phone or sent an email or had a show, I would learn something new. And to me, knowledge is everything. You have to keep learning. Even to this day, I learn something new every day. And that really kind of grew. And it's amazing to see where that band started and like where they are now. And I'm so thankful that I'm a part of that history. And, I was with them for about 7 to 8 years. And those were the grinding years. Those were when it was hard. And I'm not saying it's not hard now, but at least we can guarantee people are going to show up to an Aqueous show now. Back then, we might be in North Carolina and nobody shows up, and it turns into a weird practice. And we're like, all right, well, we'll make the best of it. I'll be your one fan and you guys play a show. And, it was a really, really cool, atmosphere all the way around. And obviously networks keep expanding from that. And then it got to a point where, Ironworks actually had recently opened in Buffalo. And this was 2013 is when Ironworks opened. It was in September. And I remember hearing about it, reading about it. And at that point, we were playing Nietzsche's for the longest time. Aqueous, I don't want to say they have the record, but they are up there with the most sellouts at Nietzsche's, to the point where they got to sign the ceiling, right next to where Fish signed when they were there in the 90s. And, that was a cool experience. But we were ready for a bigger room. And it was that time. And, before that, it really was just like Nietzsche's, and then like you hope to eventually play Town Ballroom. But they're missing that in between. And, there's other venues, but we were kind of holding out. And so Ironworks came out of nowhere. And I remember we came to this venue and we walked in and we took a tour, And I was just like, this place has something. There's something here. I don't know if it's supernatural. I can't explain it, but there was something. And I was like, guys, we should do the show here. This will be killer. This is a great spot to take it to a 500 cap room. And, you know, you can be here for a while until you hopefully outgrow it. And so we did the show. The show was great. You know, one of my favorite shows here because I just had no idea what I was in for. And after the show, I remember thinking like, you know what? Like there's something in an odd way that's calling me to this venue. Helping here or there, something. Like I have all these ideas. I stayed up almost
your field of dreams, right?
Yeah, I walked in. I was like, all right. Looking around. I'm like, okay, this could be it. This is it.
If you build it, they will come.
Exactly. And I was like, look, it's already built. We just got to figure out how to, work the inner side. And at that time, it was kind of like stuck in between, like, is it a sports bar that's catering to Sabres fans, or is it a music venue that sometimes has national acts, mostly has local acts, but has the ability to take the national stage and really do something special. So, then the story gets pretty wild where I spent some time trying to find the owner of the venue. I tracked down who it is. I sent him an email, and I don't blame him. Naturally, he ignored it. So I sent another email, and I was persistent. I wasn't annoying, but it was like, the proper, you wait, 5-6 days and then you try again. In the meantime, I put together a business plan as if the venue was mine. And if I was the owner, what I would do, how I would turn this venue from what it is to what it can be. And I wanted to have that ready just in case I had the chance to get in front of him. Finally, I do. He agrees to a meeting. I get in front of him. We have it actually here in the dressing room. And I remember just sitting down. I'm like, you don't know who I am, and that's okay. You don't need to believe anything I'm about to tell you, and that's fine. But I just want to show you something. Read it over. Let me know what you think. This is based on if I were you and I was in charge, this is what I would do. And I literally, so smoothly and casually just slid the business plan right across the table. And I was like, let me know what you think. And he took 10, 15 minutes to digest it. I kind of watched his face. I saw a couple smiles. I saw, he was concentrating on it. And then, he told me, he's like, everything looks really great. Like, I think, why don't we follow up? This was over the weekend. He's like, why don't we follow up on Monday and see what we can do? So I follow up, long story longer, and basically tell him that, I want a chance. Just give me a chance. It's like, just put me in, coach. Just, just put me in. Just give me a chance. And I was like, I realize you have people that are doing this job right now. I'm not coming in trying to take anybody's job. I want an opportunity. So he tells me, he's like, all right, why don't we do this? Why don't you come on, do it part-time? We'll do a 2-week trial. If after that 2 weeks, he kind of vetted me out, he likes what he sees, he'll offer me a job and we can take it from there. I said, all right, I like that plan. And I told him, I said, to be honest, in order for me to do this the way I want to do this, I'm going to need to quit my full-time job at the screen printing and embroidery shop. And he was like, no, he's like, I don't want you to quit your job. I don't want to be like, if after 2 weeks I say no, and then you don't have a job and you don't have this job, then all of a sudden you're unemployed and it's his fault. And he's like, why don't you just do it around your other job, coming after hours? And I straight up told him, I was like, that you won't get me. You won't get what my plan is if I can't give you a full-time experience. I'm like, this isn't on you. This is on me. Whatever happens, happens. No hard feelings. Just let me show you. And he was like, you know what? I still don't think it's smart, but do what you got to do. So
you roll the dice, bro.
Roll the dice. It's all a gamble. So, the next day I call him. I was like, I just put in my 2 weeks notice at my job. So let's do this. And, he's like, all right, that's pretty nuts, but let's rock and roll. So I remember coming in, it was like my first day. I'll never forget it because it was December 1st, 2014. I remember rolling up to the venue. I had no idea where to park. I didn't even know which door to go in. It was a hectic, natural first day. I just quit my other job. So it was this. Came in, kind of got my groove, and then really just decided to, all right, take some time. I'll tell you, I was so nervous that day. I remember I had to walk outside and just take a break. And I was like, man, was this a smart idea? Where do I start? It's like, I'm in the door. It's like, all right, so show me what you got. What are you going to do? And then it's like, all right, let's get to work. So I started hitting up everybody that I knew in the music industry, all the managers, all the agents, and basically put a press release together and said, I have a room. I want to book your bands. Like, show me what you got. And, then it just started rolling in. And I can tell you within the first 2 days, I booked 14 shows. I had it all lined up. I put a concert series together. I had multiple band packages. I had routing worked out. And I presented it and told the owner, because he was checking in every day, how everything was going. And the best thing is that Thursday, he pulled me aside and he's like, let's not worry about the 2 weeks. You're in, you're hired. Just go. He's like, you did what you needed to do. You got me. Here you are. Like, rock and roll, do your thing. Like, you're crushing it. In that time period, the other person who was doing the booking, I think only had like 2 or 3 shows that were actually booked. So this showed what it could be and what the style of music and how they were structured. The deals were done properly. It was national acts. It was going to bring attention to this venue. And then really just kind of fast forwarding from there, I think it was probably within, I want to say, at that time it was part-time. It was hourly, it was part-time. He was like, this is all I can offer. There's 2 dudes doing this job. Like, that's not going to work. Probably within a month, maybe 2 months, he pulled me aside and he's like, I'm going to let the other guy go and I want you to come on full-time and I want you to be the music director for the venue. And I'm just like, that is a dream. I feel awful. I'm not trying to take someone's job, but that's your decision. And this is what I want to do. It felt like this is where I belong. So came on full time as the music director. And then honestly, God, it was probably 3 months later. He's like, all right, I'm going to let go the GM and I want you to be the manager of the entire venue. And again, I'm like, whoa, not trying to take out anybody's job here, but all right, that sounds awesome. He's like, I'm going to put you on salary. This is your place. He's like, you've showed me just in this little 6-month window, this is what you're supposed to do. And that was the wildest ride. It was like, it went from maybe I could possibly get my foot in the door and then 6 months later to literally taking over as the general manager of the entire place. Nothing I predicted, nothing I was gunning for, but certainly a welcomed challenge, I'll say.
Two things, because you showed a set of balls that you had, first of all, by stepping up to them, right? And then the second thing is, one thing I used to tell a lot of local bands when I owned the bar back in the day, when I had the electric company, was it's persistence will get you gigs. If you keep hitting me with, I'm going to eventually just be like, all right, kid, here's your date. Get away from me type of thing, Like, just take it. Let me see what you got type of thing. And usually it works. The ones that are persistent are the ones that are going to go out there and do the work. And it showed that you had a lot of balls.
Well, I appreciate that. And, that's really all it was, because, there's no reward without a risk. And,
exactly.
You have to do it. You have to give it your all. And I like to think anything that I do, I'm going to give it my all, big or small. It's just the nature that I was brought up on. I thank my parents for that. It's just kind of like my genetic makeup. Like, I want something, I get excited about it. And truthfully, I'm not going to do something that I don't really love doing. And most of it comes from passion. And I tell that to my staff, and I tell that to interns I've had. If you don't have passion for what you're wanting to do and you're just trying to come in and do this as a job, this isn't going to work for you.
Exactly.
You got to love what you do. Otherwise, it's not going to show, and it's going to make a big difference. And then I really got to run this place as the GM, as well as handling music. I got to bring in my, staff that I luckily, have had for so long. I mean, I'm so thankful. And you can imagine in this industry, especially since you owned a bar, turnover rate is fairly high. And my average employee has been with me for about 4 years. And that's something
That's awesome.
It's amazing. And, it goes a long way. I couldn't do it without every single person that works here. And it's been a wild ride, and it's been so cool to be a part of. And, and then the best part is then all of a sudden, I kind of think this isn't the end, but let's expand. Let's build a music festival for the venue. Why not? And then came up with the idea for Cobblestone Live, which is a 4 to 5 stage, 2-day. Let's close down downtown Buffalo. We closed 5 streets. And, did it for 3 years. And we saw our growth, first year go from 1,800 to 3,000. And then last year we did like 4,500. And this year we were expecting, 5,000 to 6,000. And it's so cool because a multi-day music festival has never been done in downtown Buffalo, especially in this historic cobblestone district. And so we wanted to do something new that's never been done before and nobody thought could actually be done. And I'm just so, I guess, impressed with our staff and my partners in it that it actually happened. You know, we pulled it off and we're going to continue to do it, which is amazing.
Killing it, brother. I want to back up and talk about Aqueous really quick.
Yeah.
A lot of this podcast is based around music, of course. I mean, it's our background. It's the only thing I know.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk about the whole jam scene and what I love. And you made mention of it earlier. You were watching Aqueous before you got involved with them in front of like 20 people, and to watch them grow to where it is. That's the one thing I love, and I say this all the time on this podcast. The one thing I love about the jam band community is the grassroots style of promotion, the way their attendance snowballs, like you referred to earlier. It's amazing. I love watching these young bands just grow up, and they grow up right before our eyes. And I've seen so many. I mean, I feel like I grew up with Mo, and then going on and seeing bands like Aqueous and Twiddle, and Turquoise is another one that comes to mind. It's like watching all these guys grow up. It's so amazing to see, man. And some of your thoughts on the jam band community.
You know what? Like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The thing that drew me to the jam band community is that the judgment is out the door. You know, it's the most accepting community that I've been a part of, and it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. You're going to be greeted with a hug and open arms, and it's so amazing to see. And that goes to the fans as well as the bands. You know, just I tip my cap to them because that's just amazing. That's the most beautiful thing with it. And, you know, when it comes to the bands, it's so cool because, like you said, it is all grass-rooted. It's a grind. You know, these are bands that are not predominantly going to get on the radio. They're not going to get record deals. They're not going to have commercial success. They're going to live and die by live shows and their fan base. That's everything to them. And, you know, they built in a very positive way these cult-like followings that, like I said before, like ride or die, and they really stick by it. And it's so amazing to see because I go back and think about the bands like Aqueous and Twiddle and Turquoise and Pigeons and Talk and so many others that, you know, when you look back to like 2008, 2009, 2010, you know, we were on the road with a lot of these bands and we're playing these small rooms, but we're all, you know, very, very professional and really trying to learn as we go. And now, any one of those bands, I'll throw Dopapod in there too. They were a gigantic influence for us, especially for me on the production level. Just a quick shout out to Jason Gibbs, who was their manager. And you know what? He really kind of taught us how we should live on the road as a band. But to see it grow and to actually feel it and to watch it and to come to a town and to like change somebody's night and their life for the day or for the month or the year, it's unbelievable, you know, and it's great that we have kind of like the legends like the Grateful Dead and Fish that paved the way, and then the Moes and the Umphreys that were kind of like the next wave in, and now it's like, all right, it's these guys' turn. And it's so cool that every single show is different than the last. You know, you're not going to get the same set. You're not going to get the same vibe. A lot of it, there are changes where you would look at a set list from when the band started the show to when they ended, and like songs are crossed out, things are changed, you know, everything's done on the fly. It's like they literally operate as a no huddle offense, and it's the coolest thing to watch. Like, I love it.
Great reference. I like it. That's a great analogy. And the whole festival and the vibe and the brotherhood amongst the bands too. Yeah. It's remarkable. It really is. It rivals no other scene, though the metal scene is very communal too. But like the jam band community, there's just so much love amongst everybody throughout the whole festival circuit. I love it. That's why we do this, man. Yeah, it's all about the love. And that's just such an amazing factor with it all. I mean, there's the egos too are very, very low, you know, if any. It's, you know, in a lot of the music industry, as we all know, and you think about like higher end, you know of divas, and I'm sure both of us have worked with, you know, bands that can be a handful. But it seems like with the jam scene, that's just out the window, you know, like it doesn't matter. Like when Aqueous would collide with Turquoise, it was hugs and high fives and sit-ins. I mean, sit-ins are my favorite thing in this industry. And that's just beautiful. It doesn't
it doesn't matter who's opening for who or who's closing for who, or, oh, your set is 15 minutes longer. Like, that can be for the agents to fight it out. But when it comes to the bands and that community feel, there's nothing like it. And that's such a beautiful thing in the jam scene.
It really is. And I like the fact that, like, these bands, like you guys, how many different tours have you done with, like, say, Frasco or Dopapod or any of those? I mean,
so many.
It's so many. And it's great that it's just like one hand washes the other.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so great. And it's like one of our last shows here at Ironworks was the Andy Frasco and Big Something Royal Rumble tour. And it's like, I'm so happy that show happened, because like that was one of my favorite experiences all the way around, and they worked so well together. They would alternate who opened. Both bands would come out on either side. Being in Buffalo, naturally they threw somebody through a table. It was just
of course.
Wild. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. And earlier that day I took them to a boxing ring that I actually box at. And we got to do some promo work there, and they got to kind of mess around. And, you could just tell, like, when they got out of the bus, they were all best friends. They were all just there having literally the time of their lives doing what they do. And it's so great to not only see it, but I'm so thankful that we got to be a part of it. The show sold out. There was crowd surfing everywhere. There's people climbing on the bars, things being thrown. Not that I promote it, but like people were throwing drugs at Andy, and he's just taking it right then and there. He lights up a joint like this big as soon as the show kicks off. And I'm just like,
are you like cringing?
I'm like, security is literally hitting me up in like every ear, like, what do we do? What do we do? And I'm like, guys, just make sure everybody's safe. Just let it happen. This building is made of brick and concrete. We'll be all right. Like, just keep everybody safe and let's rock it.
Oh, man. Give me a good Frasco story. I know you spent some time with him, man, and I feel like that's the guy right now waving the flag in the community. And his podcast is huge. I mean, I love listening to his podcast and checking in on his Thursday night show, of course, and his dance parties. And I know you've spent some time with him. Give me a good Frasco story.
I got some good Frasco stories. I feel like the one that takes the cake is, so after Cobblestone 2018, we had him. This was right at the end of July. So typically what happens, I don't know if everybody knows it, but the guy that produces his podcast lives in Buffalo. So every time he's in Buffalo, they stay at his house. The dude's got like a lot of acres of land. We're actually trying to talk to him about seeing what might be possible for a concert out there. But so when Frasco comes, they're here for like 3 to 4 days. I mean, every single time. It's very rare they're in and out. So after Cobblestone, they're here. They hang out. That Monday after the festival, we had Billy Bob Thornton's band at Ironworks, and that's just how it was set. So, and Billy Bob got in the night before. So then all of a sudden in my head, I'm like, all right, wait a minute. We have Billy Bob Thornton and Andy Frasco in Buffalo at the same time.
Wow.
Both of them have a day off right now. I mean, something has to happen. So, we start working it. We start talking to, both tour managers, and all of a sudden, Billy Bob's tour manager is like, Billy really wants to go bowling tonight. He just wants to have some beers. He wants to kick it. You guys are invited. If you could find us a bowling alley, let's do it. And I think at the time it was like either Sunday night or Monday night. So it was super easy. We ended up at Manor Lanes, which is, right in town. And then I'm like, all right, we got Billy Bob. Somebody get Frasco on the phone. And so we're texting with Frasco, and we're like, dude, we're about to go bowling with Billy Bob. You want to come and bring the crew? And he's like Billy Bob, like Billy Bob Thornton? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, are you fucking with me? And I was like, no. I'm like, literally, it's happening. So then all of a sudden we have like Billy Bob and his crew, who it's just like amazing people. I just got to say, like, whatever asshole Billy Bob plays in movies or on air, he is the total opposite. He is like the sweetest, nicest guy to ever exist. His band and his crew are such great guys. They're so funny. One of them, Teddy, was actually a porn star and was in porn with Ron Jeremy back in the day. And like, he told us that, and we looked it up, and it's verified. He was in a porn with Ron Jeremy. So shout out to Teddy, because that guy's awesome. So they're amazing. And then, Frasco's crew is wild. So we put it together. It actually happened. We went bowling with Billy Bob and his crew, Andy Frasco, and the whole UN. I think we closed down like 8 lanes. We went through probably, I don't know, 2 dozen pitchers of beer. We all kind of drank, we smoked. I think we ended up getting back to the hotels or home maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. A lot of it is fuzzy, but I just know that, like, even though it was just bowling, it was just the atmosphere of seeing all of that come together, hanging out, sharing that brotherhood like we talked about. Like, listen, you got a millionaire of an actor / musician. You got an up-and-coming wild guy that's just, taking the world by storm. We're in the middle kind of, piecing this all together. And it'll forever go down as one of my favorite nights in this entire industry, just because anytime you say you went bowling with Billy Bob Thornton and Andy Frasco, they kind of do this, and then they're like, you did? And then it's like, yep. And then their, mind kind of blows a little bit. So, I mean, that was a great time all the way around. Some things that probably happened will stay with us forever, but, the stuff that I could disclose, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, man, that just sounds like a night dreams are made out of.
Yeah, it was something. I don't know if it'll ever happen again, but, like, Billy Bob, if you're watching, we're ready. Frasco, we're always ready. And then really quickly, the only other great Frasco story is the last time they were here, the Sabres were playing. Sabres weren't that great, but I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to go to the Sabres game? And he was like, we would love to. And so I called my buddy over at the arena, and I was like, listen, I got an amazing band in town. I really want to show them a good time. I want to come to a Sabres game. Like, we just want to party. We're going to drink at Ironworks ahead of time. We're going to walk across the street. What can you do to help me with tickets? And that dude hooked me up with 25 tickets, and we brought everybody to the game. We took over the 300 level section. Frasco, the UN, I invited the Ironworks crew. I invited anybody I could think of. Actually, some of the Aqueous guys came too. I know, like, Mike, Evan, and Dave came to the venue to party with us. So we had like a pre-party here. We went to the game, and then, Aqueous knows this best. We throw some of the best hidden after parties here at Ironworks, where we lock all the doors. Guys at Aqueous DJ, they like to get up on the bar. Most of them start taking off all their clothes for some reason. That's just a thing. And yeah, we literally had an epic Aqueous Andy Frasco hidden super underground party at Ironworks, which was just wild. It was awesome all the way around.
Sounds like you lost a lot of brain cells those couple days.
Yeah. Luckily, I was like, all right, I'm still here. I still got to kind of play like I'm in charge. You guys do you. I'll make sure somebody locks the door, and we'll keep as many brain cells as we can.
Right on. Josh, this has been great to catch up with you, man. I'm glad we can have these conversations. We should do this again. And listen, bro, if you need any promotion or whatever, please use our platform here at Disruption Network and get your word out. I love what you guys are doing at Buffalo Ironworks. And like I said, man, I mean, Buffalo is just a bigger Utica, and we're all in this I-90 corridor together, man. Let's all come together and blow it all up, because upstate New York, and this is the other thing I say a lot on this podcast, if not for the upstate New York festival scene back in the early 90s, there is no Coachella, there's no Bonnaroo, there's none of that, because we were pretty much the first to do it around here, Clifford Ball and all that. Yeah. But for the upstate New York music scene is the reason why all these major festivals do happen. Yeah,
we're upstate strong. We're going to stay that way. That's why we are, and now that I've been able to, move up to being a partner and owner at the venue and being the vice president, I just want to thank you guys, every single person that has ever stepped foot in this place, all the bands, all the fans, all the staff, all the production, the sound guys, the light guys, the beer vendors, the liquor vendors, like every single person that makes what we do possible happen. Thank you. We will be back. We're coming back stronger. This won't keep us down. I know that much. Give a plug to like your podcast, your social media streams and all that too. Yeah. So really everything, the best way to find us, social media, hit us up. Buffalo Ironworks. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're trying to get involved in as many things as we can. The Buffalo News has been great to us. Buffalo Business First did a piece on us. The community as a whole, they've really stepped up, and people have been asking, how can we help? How can we make sure that you guys are okay? And actually what we're going to be doing is we're working on some custom, fitted face masks and sleeves that'll be Ironworks branded with some cool designs. We're doing that just literally as a fundraiser for our staff as well as first responders. So, keep an eye out on all our channels. We're going to go live with that when that happens soon. And really, we are Buffalo. We're here for you. We'll do whatever we can for you guys. And, it's going to be great when we can all get back together and actually put on a show. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Same here, brother. Josh Holtzman, you're an inspiration, my friend. Keep it up. Keep shining. Keep creating. Keep living the dream. Keep doing it up, man. I'm proud. Keep spreading positivity and love, man.
Thanks,
Much love to everybody out in Buffalo, too, man. And thank you for all the love you guys shown me throughout the years. Much love to my sponsors. Got to give love to the sponsors, EJ8 Moving Services. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit up Eddie and his crew. He'll move you in Buffalo, too, if you guys need a good moving crew. He'll even roadie for you, too, Josh. If you need roadies for, like, Borderland or whatever, he'll do that for you.
That's awesome.
EJAmoving.com. Also, much love to Utica Coffee, the Saranac Brewery, and attorney Dave Longaretta. Make sure you guys go over to the Buffalo Ironworks Facebook page and give them a like, and check out their live streams when they do go live and all that. And again, Holtzman, much love to you, man. Thanks for coming. Shout out to Todd back in the studio, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.